Hi guys, welcome back to Rock Fabulous 40s. Let me just say right up front, I'm sorry if the lighting is just a little bit off. I don't know, maybe it's good. I can't tell in the viewfinder of the camera. I've got sun coming in from two different windows, two different directions, so I'm not exactly sure how this is going to look. However, that being said, today's video, I want to go over some of my favorite drugstore brushes. All of these brushes that I'm going to talk about are $10 or under. So, and I know they've got drugstore brushes out there that are $14, $15. Real Techniques has got some that are $24, but they're still sold in the drugstore, so they're considered drugstore brushes. But all of the drugstore brushes I'm going to be talking about are all $10 or less. So they're very, very affordable options, and they're my favorites. They're really, really great options. So I'm going to actually start with the foundation, and the reason why I'm starting with that one is because I have a lot of the foundation brushes that I really like that I want to talk about. A couple of them I've been using for years, and a couple of them I've been using just recently, and I've fallen in love with them. So I'm going to start with the ones that I've been using for years, and let me bend over to get them here, and these are by Real Techniques. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the one called the Expert Face Brush. Now, I really love this. When I picked this up, at the time I bought this, it was $9.99. So, I mean, it's right under that $10 mark, but it's so dense, and it's not so soft that, I mean, it's soft, but it's not so soft that you feel like it's going to misplace your foundation, if that makes any sense. It's not like going to squish your foundation. I don't know how to explain it. I just love this brush, and I've loved it for years. Ever since this one came out, I absolutely loved it. They also make one from Real Techniques that's called the buffing brush, and I haven't tried that one because you can't buy it as a single. You have to buy the whole set to get that one. This one you could actually buy as a single. And you'll notice it's a little bit pinched in at the ferrule, not much. And it's just so nice for buffing in foundation. I absolutely just love this brush. This does not, when I use this brush, I don't have any streaks left on my face from my foundation. You know how sometimes when you use a really dense brush you can get some streaking? This doesn't leave any streaks. I mean, this is just a gorgeous brush. It is a little tapered up through here, but it is very soft, but not too soft, if that makes sense. So great brush option here. The next one I want to talk about is also from Real Techniques, and this is the Real Techniques stippling brush. And I have had this one for so long, and forgive that it's dirty because I use it every day. That's why it's dirty. But I have used it for so long that the writing is coming off the ferrule here. You can see the tech part, but all the rest of it is like faded off, and the name of the brush is starting to fade off. I mean, I've had this thing forever. And what this is this is a flat top brush, and the bristles are a little stiffer than your typical dense foundation brush. You can use this to apply liquid foundation. It applies liquid foundation amazingly. If you want a more sheer application of liquid foundation, a stippling brush is the way to go. But this is very flat, and you'll notice when you look at the top of it, its bristles are not all densely packed together, if that makes sense. They're stiff bristles, but they're not densely packed. So like if you look at the Real Techniques one, you see the difference. This is really densely packed, and these bristles are kind of spread out maybe just a little bit. And it seems like the bristles are all cut to different sizes. So if you really look at it, you can see that some of the bristles stick up higher than some of the other bristles. And what I use this brush for is I put a little bit of foundation on the brush, and I will go in circles in both directions on my cheeks. This way, then this way, then this way. And what that does is that takes that foundation and it fills it into the pores. So it pretty much, your pores are now disguised because you have buffed that foundation. And it's something about these bristles really pushes that foundation down in there, and it really disguises them and gives your face more of an airbrushed look, more so than just having pores sticking out everywhere from just using a regular foundation brush and being enough. So typically what I'll do is I'll do my foundation all over my face with my normal foundation brush, and then take a little bit extra foundation on this afterwards and go in circles in the areas where I have pores that I need to cover up. It does an amazing job at that. My other one is Another Real Techniques, oh, by the way, that last one was $9.99. My other one is another Real Techniques. I love Real Techniques brushes, as you guys can already tell. But this one was also $9.99, and this is the Real Techniques sculpting brush, and it looks like this. Now, what I love to use this for, and it works great for liquid foundation because I can get the liquid foundation like right there, right under the eyes. It's wonderful. I can get it, you know, in the crease of the nose. It blends the foundation in really, really well. It's very, very dense. But what I love to use this particular brush for is for cream contour products. So I'll use my, for example, IT Cosmetics cream contour, and I'll dip that in there, and I'll get it right here, right in the hollows of my cheek, and it fits perfectly, and it blends that cream contour in so nicely. I really love it. Now you guys can tell that the ferrule's a little bit pinched in here, and it is an angled shape, which makes it very, very easy to get into those contours of the cheek. Very, very dense, which means it makes it very, very easy to blend those contour shades into the skin. So this is a wonderful brush. Alright, so I've got two more ones that I use for foundation, and then I promise I'll be done with it. Alright, so then I've got my one that I use from Target, and this one's a little dirty, so forgive it. This is an Up&UP, I want to call it a buffing brush. There's no name on the brush, so I can't really tell what it's called, and I don't remember what it's called. But this one is the Up&UP brush from Target. It is sold exclusively at Target, and I'm going to call it the buffing brush, the face buffing brush. And it is very, very dense with bristles, yet still soft. And it applies liquid foundation to the skin like a dream, and I just absolutely love this. It is completely round. It's not, I mean, it's not really, maybe a little bit tapered on the sides, but not much at all. The ferrule's not pinched in at all. And this brush came in a set with another brush, and the other brush I don't have in this particular collection because I don't use it a whole lot, and I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a blush brush or something, but this came in a set with another brush that was $6.99. So this ended up being an amazing brush. I would have paid $6.99 for this brush alone. So great brush. By the way, all of these brushes that I'm talking about too, all the Real Technique ones, this one, all of the ones that I'm going to be talking about today, I've washed and cleaned many, many times, and none of them have shed on me. None of them have gotten misshapen, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I've had some really expensive brushes that have gotten misshapen after I've washed them. You know, these have never done that. So, no shedding, no misshapenness. The last foundation brush I'm going to talk about is by e.l.f. It was $6, and this is the Ultimate Blending Brush, I believe this is called, and it looks like this. And this is a great brush for liquid foundation or powder foundation, or even setting powder. It works great for all three of those things. And this is just a wonderful brush. I've washed it, I've cleaned it with the little spray stuff that you can spray on it and just kind of clean it with. It deposits and blends liquid foundation in like a dream. I have also used it for pressed powder, where I dip it into a little bit of pressed powder and get it right up under my eyes to set my under eyes. And oh my god, this is one that I just recently started using within the last few weeks, and I have been loving this brush so much. But then, as I was cleaning it yesterday, last night, I was going through cleaning some of my brushes. As I was cleaning it, the glue came loose from the ferrule and it popped off. So I'm a little upset at that. I'm a little upset that this popped off only after 3 weeks of having it and using it. I've only washed it a few times, 3 times maybe, because I try to wash my brushes once a week. It popped off. Now, luckily, when I purchased these, I bought 2 of them. So I do have another one. I do have a backup, and I could probably even glue this back on. But just the fact that it came off while I was cleaning it, it's a little upsetting because it's an awesome brush. I just wish it was put together just a little bit better so the ferrule wouldn't come off the handle. But other than that, it is an awesome, awesome brush. And thank goodness I have a backup, and thank goodness it was only $6, so it didn't break the bank. Alright, moving on to powder. I don't have a whole lot of powder brushes. I have 3. One of them is a Real Techniques powder brush. Actually, it's the Real Techniques blush brush. but I use it for powder. This cost me $9.99. Most of the Real Techniques ones do. I use this one for powder, not so much blush, but they call it a blush brush because you're supposed to be able to just get right there on the apples of the cheeks. I like to use it for setting powder and bronzer is what I like to use this for, because it works great with bronzer, just getting the bronzer all around the hairline and the jaw, and just kind of an all-over bronzer application. This works great for. So it is a round brush. It is very fat and fluffy. Even though it's soft and fluffy, it's very dense, which is very nice, but it's just, look at that, it's so soft. It is tapered coming up the sides, and it is really actually kind of big, but you know, like I said, the big brushes, I like using the big brushes for all over powder and bronzer applications. So this has just been a wonderful brush for me, and I absolutely love it. You guys are going to hear me say how much I absolutely love every brush in this under $10 collection I have here. The next two brushes are brushes from e.l.f. And again, I have really come to really like the e.l.f. brushes, the ones with the black handles. These are like their pro line of brushes, I'm guessing. What do they call these? I don't remember what line this is, but it's more of the, like, I don't know, pro line, I guess. I already said that. All right, so the first one I'm going to talk about is the e.l.f. powder brush, and it is a flat top brush. It is very soft. It's perfect for applying an all-over setting powder, which I don't normally do an all-over setting powder. I do setting powder under my eyes and sometimes on my T-zone, and that's it. It does an awesome job at that, and it also does an awesome job at doing an all-over bronzer as well. So this is a wonderful brush, and again, I've washed it many times. This ferrule hasn't come loose. I'm wondering if maybe I just got a defective one in that foundation brush. Maybe I did. I don't know. But this ferrule has never come loose, and I've used it and washed it over and over and over again for months and months, and it's been great. The other one is the complexion brush. And the complexion brush I like to use for setting powder. And again, I've had this one for what seems like forever and a day, and I've washed it a million times, and again, the ferrule never came off. That's the only one that the ferrule came off of the stick, the handle, the stick. Anyway, so this is a tapered brush. You'll see how it's tapered going up like this, and then it kind of fans out. It is, you know, a little bit, I don't know how to explain this one. It's so soft. It just applies the perfect amount of bronzer without overdoing it because it's so soft. It doesn't pick up too much product, if that makes sense. So it's perfect for that bronzer application. It's good for blush too, but I find it a little too big for me for blush. Some people like big blush brushes, and that's great. There's occasionally where I want to do kind of an all-over blush on my face. I know that sounds kind of weird, but instead of doing an all-over bronzer, I might take a little bit of pink, like a, I don't know, a tannish pink, and just kind of swipe it just a little bit all over just for some color, and this works great for that because it just doesn't pick up too much product. It's just enough for an all-over type color. Wonderful brush. All right, so those are my powder brushes. Now I'm going to move on to blush. I have two of my favorite all-time blush brushes, and one of them, oh, by the way, those e.l.f. brushes, those were $6 if I didn't mention that. One of them I picked up at Ross, and it's from a line called SOHO, and I've not actually heard of SOHO except for in Walgreens or at Ross. If you guys have heard of the SOHO line of brushes anywhere else, let me know. But I picked this one up for $3.99 at Ross, and it looks like this. And no, it wasn't just the pink handle that got me, although it did kind of draw me to it. But what makes it one of my favorite brushes is it fits my cheeks perfectly. It's not too big, it's not too small. I mean, it is amazing. So I've had this one probably for about a year, and I use it for almost every single blush application unless I'm doing a cream blush. That's the only time I don't use it. Okay, so if you look at it, it's just kind of, it's pinched in here on the ferrule, and then it kind of fans out a little bit. It's a little bit tapered going up like this, and it is really soft. It applies the perfect amount of blush, and I love it. And it's got, actually, it's kind of, it's not a heavy brush, but the size of it and the weight of it, it's I don't know, it just feels really good in my hand, if that makes sense. It feels really nice in my hand, and it just applies blush just awesomely. So this is one of my favorites, the SOHO brush. My other blush brush is another e.l.f. brush, and I have been using this one for years. Ever since it came out, I've been using this one, and I got this one for $3, and it is from their Pro line or their Expert line, whatever it is they call it. And it is the small stipple brush. I use this for applying cream blush, and this is amazing for cream blush. It's a flat top, as you guys can see, and the hairs, is that what bristles, hairs, whatever they're called, they're very jagged. They're all different shapes. So it's a dense brush, but it's not completely packed of bristles dense, if that makes sense. They're just all different sizes, different sizes, that's it. And it's a round brush, and it is, I wouldn't say it's tapered so much because of the bristles are just kind of up and cut and then just jaggedy, just different jaggedy sizes. But this is an amazing brush for cream blush products. Love it. And then I have another blush brush, which they call a contour brush, and it is a new line that I just picked up at Walgreens, or that I just saw at Walgreens. And I don't want to say it's how can I word it? I said it's a new line. I don't know if it's a new line or not, but they are new. So these are the Wet and Wild, the new Wet and Wild brushes. Now, Wet and Wild had the black handled brushes that they've had out for quite some time, and they were actually really pretty good brushes. And then I ran across at Walgreens the white set. And the white set has got the white handle with the pink. And this is what they call their contour brush. I use it for blush because it fits just perfectly right there for me. And it does contour okay, but I prefer it for blush. And this was 99 cents, guys, at Walgreens. I mean, really. And the handle, like I said, it's white. It's really nice feeling. And the handle has got this little divot in it right here. You guys see that little divot? All of these new Wet n Wild brushes with the white handles have that little divot in it, so you can put your finger in there or your thumb in there when you're grabbing the brush, and it just fits your hand just so nicely. Now this particular brush, it is tapered going up. It is pinched in at the ferrule, okay, and then it fans out at the sides. So nice brush for 99 cents. And yes, I have washed it. I'm not going to lie, it did shed just a little bit, but not much at all. After I washed it, the shedding kind of quit. And it's just an all-around nice brush. Alright, highlight. I have one favorite highlight brush that I always use. And guys, I know this is kind of a lengthy video, and I'm really sorry that this is so long, but I'm going to try to get through the rest as quick as I can. One highlight brush that is my all-time favorite go-to highlighter brush, and it's from Real Techniques. This was a $6.99. Yeah, $6.99. And this is called the setting brush, and it's great for using setting powder under your eyes, or if you need to put setting powder in specific places, this is great. But I use this guy for highlight because it fits right here just perfectly for me. So I can highlight here, I can go down the bridge of my nose, I can get my Cupid's bow with some highlight. This is the perfect highlighting brush for me. It is pinched in on the ferrule here, and it is tapered going all the way up to almost a point. And it's so soft, but not so soft that it doesn't pick up any product, if that makes sense. So it's just perfect for that highlight. It just picks up just the perfect amount of highlight and deposits it perfectly wherever I want it. It's a wonderful brush, and I've had this one for years. I've washed it a million times, and it's still in almost perfect, well, it is still in perfect shape, really. Just love this brush. Alright, going on to eyes. Eye brushes, I've got a lot of eye brushes I love, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on eye brushes because, I mean, they're either great or they're not. You know what I mean? You guys have used those eye brushes that you're just like, as soon as you try it, you're like, yes, no, screw that, I'm not going to use that brush anymore. So they're either, yes, you love them, or you hate them. That's just how eye brushes are. And I picked up a set at Walgreens that I actually really love. And it's a travel set, and it's by Pop Art, I think is the name of it. And I picked it up in this little 3-brush set here. And the set was $6.99, $7.99. And it's just, they're short little stubby brushes. And this one here is the eyeshadow brush. This is the eye crease blender, and they call this one the concealer brush, but I use it to pack on shadow. Now these brushes, they're cute as can be. See the polka dots? Oh, just so cute. And they do have pink tips on them. What I like to use them for is this one I like to use to pack color onto the lid. Works great for that. This one I like to use to do a deposit of color on the crease because it fits just perfectly into the crease. Now it's not great for blending, but it's great for just depositing the color there into the crease. And this one is great for your transition shades. You see how it's kind of tapered? So it kind of fits from your crease up to right under, well, I don't want to say right under your brow bone, but you know, right where your transition shade goes, from the crease a little bit up above the crease, if you know what I mean. It just fits in there perfectly for that transition shade. So this was a great little set. I picked it, like I said, I picked this up at Walgreens, and it was either $6 or $7 for the set. So great little set. All right, so the next eye brushes that I just absolutely really love, they were a part of this Wet and Wild 99-cent brush display with the white handles that I ran into. Some of the brushes on that display are 99 cents. Some of the brushes are like $1.49, I think. So they're really inexpensive. But these are the two eye brushes that I picked up from that same line. This one is what they call the large shadow brush. And I use this guy here to deposit color onto my lids. It packs color on just so good. So good. And then this one is the crease brush. And I use this one for blending. I'll get in there and I'll blend my colors together, or I'll use it for my transition shade. I mean, it is just an amazing brush. And again, they both have the little notches cut out, so you have the place to put your thumb to hold the brush, or you can put your knuckle of your finger to hold the brush if you hold your brush that way. So, I mean, a great set of brushes, and I've only had these a couple of weeks, and I've used them a lot, and I've cleaned them a lot. I don't wash these with soap and water like I do my face brushes, but I do have a spray that I spray on them, and I wipe them down, and they come perfectly clean. So, great brushes right here. All right, then I've got, don't laugh at me, you guys know the e.l.f. line, because I've talked about a lot of e.l.f. brushes, and they were more of their expert or pro type brushes. Well, this one is from their $1 line, and this is called the Professional Defining Eye Brush. And it just looks like a, when you look at it, it looks like a cheap piece of crap brush, honestly. You'd walk past it in the store and go, oh, I'm not picking up that crappy brush. Look how cheap it looks. It looks like it's not going to do anything. However, this brush, guys, for $1 is freaking amazing. I use this to get precise application of shadow in my outer V and up into my crease, and it works amazingly for that. I went and bought like 5 more of these, so I have backups of them if this ever breaks, or if I ever lose it, or I just can't use it anymore. I've got 5 others packed away that I've got saved as backups. I mean, it's just, it's absolutely perfect for that crease and outer V portion, because you can just, because of the taperedness of the brush, or the angledness of the brush, it fits right here. I can't see my mirror. It fits right here just perfectly right into that outer V, and then you can just sweep across. Oh, it's just amazing. This has got to be the brush that I reach for almost every time I do my eyeshadow. Almost every time. I just absolutely love this. So again, this is the little $1 defining eye brush from e.l.f. You can usually find these at like Dollar Tree too. I mean, they're everywhere. Alright, the next couple of brushes I'm going to talk about are a couple of more e.l.f. brushes. This one is the eyeshadow C brush. And again, I use this for depositing color on the lid. Works great. It also works great for if I want to pick up some baked shadow and then I spritz it with a little setting spray and then deposit. It works great for that. This is part of their Expert or Pro line, so this is a $3 brush. And then this one is the e.l.f. crease brush, and I use this one for blending. You'll see it's very tapered, coming up to the top, very soft, and it works great for blending around any harsh edges that you might have in your shadow. And this was also $3. Great little brush. And then the last one, that is, I have to say, my all-time favorite blending brush is from that SOHO line. And it looks like this. These SOHO brushes, I mean, this one was $3. You'll see it's tapered and fluffy. It's great for blending transition shades, crease shades, blending other shades into each other. This is I reach for this brush every single time. Every single time. I've got 3 of these. I'll use one that's bare just to blend color, and a lot of times I'll use one that's got my transition shade or something on it to blend in. So, I mean, amazing. And again, these SOHO brushes, they feel so good in my hands. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it so well, is because it just feels really good resting in my hand like that. And like I said, $3, and this is one that I reach for every time. It's an amazing, amazing brush. Awesome brush. Again, all of these brushes I have cleaned and washed multiple times. I've not had any massive shedding problems. The only issues that I had was my e.l.f. blending brush just kind of broke. I do have a backup of it. I could probably glue it back on there. I'm not sure I want to. But I love the way that that brush applies foundation. So, you know, I'm still going to call it one of my favorite brushes even though it did break. So guys, that is pretty much what I have in my favorites under $10 brushes as far as foundation, face, blush, eyes. I don't really have anything else that's under $10 that I use. I do have a lot of higher end brushes that I use, and I might do a video later on of my favorite high-end brushes. If you guys want to see that, just let me know down below and I'll do a video on that. But for everything under $10, these are my favorites, and I do reach for these a lot. So they're great brushes. Alright guys, so I hope this video was somewhat helpful, and if it was, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Also, you can look me up on my website at www.rockfabulousonline.com. You can look me up on Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, all under Rock Fabulous 40s. Also guys, hit subscribe down there somewhere. Somewhere there's a subscribe button down there. Hit it. And you too can rock your fabulous 40s, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.